If you thought the royal drama surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry couldn't get any more twisted, buckle up. Because now Meghan's own father has spoken out, and what he's said threatens to unravel one of the most tightly managed narratives in modern royal history. It's not just tabloid gossip or vague social media conspiracies this time. This is direct, personal, and deeply unsettling. And once you hear what he and other family members have alleged, it raises a question so disturbing that no one in the mainstream press dares to touch it. Did Meghan Markle ever actually give birth to her children at all? It sounds outrageous on the surface, but when you begin connecting the dots, when you start tracing the timelines, scrutinizing the footage, and listening to the people who knew Meghan before the palace, things start to look less like coincidence and more like a calculated, curated illusion. Her father dropped the first bombshell. He claimed that Meghan had her eggs removed and frozen years ago, back when she was still married to her first husband, Trevor Engelson. That alone is a private detail most parents wouldn't casually mention unless something compelled them to speak out. But it didn't stop there. Her brother reportedly added that Meghan had a hysterectomy around the same time. The implications of that are staggering. If true, it would mean that not only was Meghan unable to conceive children naturally, but also that her entire image as a hands-on royal mom is built on a falsehood. And yet, despite these explosive claims, the media has stayed curiously quiet. No deep dive investigations, no rebuttals, no clarifications, just silence. Meghan's defenders are quick to dismiss it as personal boundaries or her right to privacy. But when your image, your branding, your very presence on the global stage is tied to your role as a mother of royal children, that privacy line blurs. You can't weaponize motherhood for public sympathy, marketing deals, and political clout, then turn around and demand silence when the most basic questions start. Getting asked, let's talk about the timeline. Meghan was reportedly earning $7,000 per episode on Suits, a modest figure by Hollywood standards. According to insiders, the cost of storing frozen eggs long-term can reach nearly $9,000 per month. Financially, it just doesn't add up. There's no solid proof she could have afforded the procedure long enough to preserve her eggs for future use, especially if the reports of her career struggles at the time are to be believed. So if the eggs weren't used, and she had the hysterectomy, where did the children come from? That's where the inconsistencies begin to snowball. Public appearances with her children have always felt off, stiff, controlled. There's very little of the natural warmth most parents display without effort. No messy moments, no candid slips, no spontaneous affection. Everything is curated, posed, sanitized, and then there's the Disneyland photos, two separate sightings of what are allegedly the same daughter, but the child looks suspiciously different in each one. Different features, different expressions, different energy. Are we seriously entertaining the idea that stand-ins could have been used? It gets darker when you look at the now infamous moon bump footage. Meghan, pregnant and filming inside a hospital during the pandemic, a time when strict COVID protocols wouldn't have allowed even essential visitors into maternity wards, let alone camera crews. In that video, her stomach shifts in a way that no real pregnancy belly should. It folds, it bounces, it deflates. People slowed the footage down, analyzed the angles, dissected the frames, and what they saw didn't scream pregnancy. It screamed props department fail. Now let's say, for argument's sake, Meghan used a surrogate. That's not scandalous in itself. Plenty of people do, but what makes it so suspect here is the alleged deception, the effort to appear pregnant. The hospital footage, the awkward baby handling. It wasn't just secrecy, it was performative motherhood, staged for cameras, designed to sell the fairy tale. Even the birth certificates come with asterisks. Reports surfaced that Meghan had her royal title removed from one child's documentation, then had it reinserted later. That's not normal. That's not a bureaucratic error. In the US, royal titles aren't even recognized as legal names, yet somehow hers passed. Insiders claim that immigration officials were so confused by the paperwork that they reached out directly to King Charles. And that only happens when red flags are waving everywhere. And then there's Harry, who by now is less a bystander and more of a co-architect in this royal drama. He's not just going along with it, he's actively demanding HRH titles for the children, even though the late queen reportedly made it clear, step away from the duties, you step away from the perks. But Charles, under pressure or out of fear, caved. The titles were granted, and with them, a layer of legitimacy the public has now been trained to question. So why would Meghan go through all this? Why fake it if that's what happened? One theory stands out among all the noise: leverage. Royal children born into the firm carry power, not just symbolic power, but PR value, negotiation weight, and long-term influence. It doesn't matter if Meghan wanted out of the palace, she still wanted a seat at the royal table, and the surest way to keep it, have, or appear to have, royal heirs. But it's all beginning to crack. Footage of Meghan holding her children shows a woman who looks more like a nanny posing for a photo op than a mother sharing a moment. The stiffness, the lack of eye contact, the children themselves looking dazed or disconnected, always handlers nearby, always a scene being managed. This isn't a private family, it's a production set. Supporters rush to defend her, repeating the same lines. She's just private, she's protecting her kids. But privacy doesn't explain disappearing pregnancies, swapped out children, or robotic interviews. At some point, the story stops being about a mother's choice and starts becoming about public deception, especially when Meghan and Harry continue using royal titles, appear on official monarchy platforms, and monetize their family story through deals, memoirs, and streaming content. And just when things begin to quiet down, another distraction hits the headlines. A viral video of Meghan dancing or twerking, some cringe moment that instantly dominates trending charts. But behind the noise, the core question still looms: who are these children really? If Meghan truly is their biological mother, why not put the rumors to rest once and for all? Why not release a clear, unambiguous photo or a timeline that silences all doubts? Instead, it feels like a never-ending game of deflection. Create just enough controversy to drown out the questions that actually matter. And the questions do matter. Because this isn't just about Meghan anymore. It's about the royal institution that continues to indulge her. It's about a monarchy that refuses to clarify, refuses to push back, and in doing so, allows the ambiguity to fester. Every photo up, every title, every staged appearance only adds to the unease. The silence isn't just compliance, it's complicity. The truth, if it ever comes out, won't be from the palace or the press. It'll be from the cracks in the narrative. The inconsistencies people notice, the odd photos, the lack of transparency. And when that truth finally breaks free, when the illusion finally collapses, it could become one of the most explosive PR implosions the royal family has ever faced. Because this isn't just about one woman allegedly faking a pregnancy. It's about the erosion of public trust. It's about the manipulation of imagery, of emotion, of motherhood. Meghan and Harry walked away from the royal duties, but they didn't walk away from the benefits. They still wear the titles. They still command the spotlight. And they still want the world to believe in the brand they've built on top of a story that no longer adds up. So here we are. No answers, just silence, shadows, and the growing suspicion that one of the most photographed families in the world has managed to hide something enormous in plain sight. Meghan's past is no longer just her past. It's the foundation of a global narrative. And if the foundation is false, what does that say about everything that's come after? Let us know what you think in the comments. Are people asking the right questions about Meghan's motherhood story? Or is this just another case of media overreach? Hit that like button, subscribe for more investigations, and ring the bell so you never miss when the real stories behind the glamour are finally brought into the light.